Welcome to this video where I'm going to give you some tips on how to write a good script. In fact, before I get started, let me turn it over to my good friend, Steve Jobs, who's going to give you an overview on why writing a good script is so important. Steve?
And so, in Hollywood, one of the most popular sayings is, the story is king. But it turns out it really isn't. Because when push comes to shove, when a movie's in production and there's a lot of mouths to feed and they're waiting for stuff to make, and the story's not working, almost everybody says, well, we just have to make the movie. And one of the things that I'm proudest of Pixar of is we have a story crisis on every movie, and production's rolling, and there's mouths to feed, and something's just not working, and we stop. We stop and we fix the story. Because John Lasseter, who's one of the founders of Pixar, he really instilled a culture of story, story, story. And even though Pixar is the most technologically advanced studio in the world, John has a saying that's really stuck, which is no amount of technology will turn a bad story into a good story.
Writing a good script is the most important thing you can do for this video project. Everything else is great, but if you don't have a good story, you are guaranteed to have a poor video. So, here are some ways to do it, because writing a script is very different than any type of paper that we've written this year. Number one, remember that the story is king. You need to make your story about something simple. You can add the complicated details later, but what your story is about should be able to be stated in about a sentence or two. Here's an example. A young boy falls in love with a local girl who pretends to hate him, but sees him in secret. It's a pretty simple story. What is that story? That's Romeo and Juliet. Now you remember Romeo and Juliet. There was probably 20 characters. There are a lot of different plot twists. But when you get down to it, what the story is about can be answered in that simple sentence. So start with one sentence and then go from there. If you do that, you'll be on the right track. After you have your sentence, you want to ask yourself, what is my story's theme? Why is my story important? If your story is just about people hanging out and messing around, there's really no reason anybody would want to watch it. If you're just making a story about knights fighting each other randomly, again, what's the point? If your story doesn't have a theme, you really don't have a story at all. So come up with a good idea, a simple concept, and then ask yourself, what is the message that I want to tell? When you go to write your script, you're going to use 3 different acts. This is the best way to write a story, and pretty much the only way that most people write a story. Every story starts with Act 1, and that's where we get introduced to the characters. We find out who they are, what they're all about, and what the issues of the time are. In Act 2, we meet the conflict. What is the issue? What do people have to deal with? What are the trials and setbacks that they encounter along the way? Who are the villains, etc. In Act 3, things seem like they are hopeless. It looks as though the hero is going to be defeated and nothing will work out. It is in this moment that the hero is able to fight back and save the day. You don't need to come right out and say, I am now in Act 1, I am now in Act 2. However, these should be in the back of your head as you write the script. A couple other things that need to be in the back of your head. The elements of the romantic hero's tale. Now, you learned about these in the Indiana Jones activity and in the Romantic Hero's Tale video, but remember, you need to have a physical journey, you need to have disguise, you need to have magic, and you need to have a focus on nobility. Please watch the other video for some more details on those. In addition to that, make sure that you have the regular hero's tale elements, the status quo, given assistance from somebody else, encountering trials and tribulations, victory, and then return. Alright, well, thank you for stopping by for this screenwriting tips video. I hope you learned something. Be sure you check out the video tools video. That'll help you if you've never edited a video before. I just said the word video a lot. Hopefully you'll be saying the word video a lot too as you work on the King Arthur project. Have a great day.